Well, guys, I'm back and I'm hoping that this time it stays live and it doesn't freeze. You know, just when you think you have everything figured out, you get thrown a curved ball. But that's okay. We're back and I'm hoping that you guys join me again. So what we just, I just did a long little chat and then we stamped the You More Than Measure Up and I did it 2, 4, 6, 8 times on this one. And this one here has a bit more space in between 2, 4, 6, 7 times. So it's entirely up to you. And the whole thing is don't stress about it. Every card is going to be different. It's a great message to give to somebody. You know, we are way too obsessed with the weigh scale. So anyway, I get started again. I've got to stop. All right. So what you need to do now is you need to just get a scrap of white. Now I happen to have a perfectly rectangular piece of white. Not necessary. Use all your little bitty bits. Okay, so we're going to start with Bumblebee. And we're first going to, I like to stamp the solid image first and then do the line image, but do whatever you want. So ink it up gently and then stamp off. Give it a nice firm press off. And then I'm going to stamp right near the top. There. And then we want the outline of the bowl, and it's going to go full strength. Now, I might have to stand up to just be able to look. Oh, that's not bad at all. It's good to get, if you're right above your stamp, then you can actually see what you're doing. And now, you see those cute little hearts? You could leave them like that. But, let's have a look, see. I have my pad here. There. Yeah, stuff happens, you know, people. And if, you know, that's one of the things about going live, the joy of being live in a video is that it's a little bit more real to you guys. It feels real to me. I feel like I'm talking to you. I really absolutely love doing it. But the drawback to being live is that the screw ups also happen live. So, you know, and life is not perfect. So stuff is going to go wrong. And if you pre-record, well, then you can edit that stuff out or start again or whatnot. So I have my hearts on here. And so yeah, that's one of the drawbacks, but it's also, you know, you get raw and real, and I kind of like that too. You just need to have a tough skin and not let it bother you too much. So I've got my hearts, and I can't really see, but let's have a look. That's perfect. And I could have stamped off on those two if I wanted them a little bit lighter. It depends on how much of a vintagey look that you like. So, and the reason I stamp near the top is because, I don't know, so I can cut the straight edge more easily. Who knows? I'm going to close my ink pads. So this was Coastal Cabana, in case I forgot to tell you. So Coastal Cabana and Bumblebee. And I tried before the video with Daffodil Delight, but it was definitely the Bumblebee because that coordinates with the ribbon. So now we are going to stamp the weigh scale. I'm just going to put all these other stamps on this block for now. And the weigh scale. Did any of you guys have a weigh scale like this growing up in the kitchen? My mother did not have a kitchen weigh scale. We had a pretty small, the kitchen, the farmhouse was a decent size, like the room was big, but the kitchen itself, very little counter space. Okay, so my mom was a basic cook. We used the kitchen table a lot for like I remember her making bread on the kitchen table. I loved that. Absolutely loved it. My mom would roll off a little piece of dough. We called it pijpjes, and then we would get to eat it. So here is the weigh scale, and I've stamped in Memento. I'm going to color this with. Oh, look at that! I just got right. Maybe I should do another one. I got a little bit too close to the bottom. Let's do another one. Anyway, I'm sure you guys, whenever I see images of baking, it's nostalgic for me. And I think it probably is for a lot of people, if they're moms, if there was baking in the family. So we're going to color the weigh scale before we cut it out. It's easier to color on something that is in a bigger thing that's not moving around. So I'm using dark real red and light real red. And I'm just going to do, I've got the brush tip. You have to be careful with the brush tip because it's a little wider. You don't want to go, I don't like going outside the lines. I mean, if you do, you can pick it up with your color lifter, but it's not perfect, I don't think. So I'm just along the bottom. And when you color in for a video, you probably do it differently than what you do in real life. You're a little bit more cautious. And oh, see, I just went out of the line. All right, right away, I'm taking my color lifter and I'm gonna see what happens. It does lighten it up, doesn't it? Oh, look at that, magic. Yay, it's pretty good. All right, I love the color lifter, I really do, but it came through for me today. I was actually quite skeptical. It's not gone, but it's a lot lighter than what it was. See, and now I'm just gonna draw the dark in. So what you do with your light one is you go over top of the dark one and then it blends, it just pulls it in. So I'm just doing that. I love coloring. I find it takes my mind off of things. It slows down. You get quiet, introspective. So now I've got the color lifter and I'm just going down the middle a little bit just to lighten things up. You can see how it did that. It looks really cool. It's like it's a little bit faded. Yeah. There. You know, because when you've had something for a long time, it's not quite as bright and shiny as when the first day that you got it. So now with the Weigh Scale, I'm going in just on the corners again. I'm not that fancy with my coloring. I know people talk about light and shadows and all that stuff, but I'm a little squirrely that way too, and I don't always let it sink into my brain. I kind of have the basic ideas of it, and that's good enough for me. But you know what? If you're really into that kind of thing and it means a lot to you, then look it up and play, and you'll find, you know, sometimes it just comes naturally. You just kind of know what you're doing without really thinking about why. So, and you can turn it around so that the coloring works better for you. And I'm getting a little nervous by those skinny edges. When you get to the skinny bits, then you might want to switch to your fine tip. Yeah. Yeah. See, it gives you a little bit more precision. So I am so thankful to be back in air conditioning. My parents do not have air conditioning, and while it necessarily isn't that horribly hot, the humidity, oh my word, I hate being sweaty. The sweat was on my brow, my dress was sticking to me. Oh, you feel so icky. And oh my word. And you know, thankfully it doesn't bother them a bit. They love it. They're old, they're getting thin, and yeah, the heat feels great. My dad's doing really well. The nurse came yesterday and his lungs were completely clear, no rattle. It's like, oh my goodness, I can hardly dare hope, but maybe he'll make his 95th birthday. It's just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to use the tiny little, if you look at the stamp set, right here, that little guy is where we decide what the Weigh Scale's measuring at. The cherries are in season right now. Just little joys. My dad loves fruit, and so he was munching away, and that was nice. It's just so nice. It's like, you know, having old parents is a little bit like having children, and you're just so happy when they eat. Okay, I need red. I have cherry cobbler here. I need real red. Okay, there we go. It's so helpful that my ink pads are right behind me, so I can grab what I don't have. Okay, so I'm going to move the thing over here because you more than measure up. There we go. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, now we have to cut it out. So we've got a little fussy cutting. There are no dies with this set, and that's okay. It's a really inexpensive set. I believe it's only $23, this stamp set. I have extra card kits if you want one. They're $25. There's 5 cards in the kit, and it's mailed anywhere in Canada. The stamped images are not included. Sorry, I kind of went off. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to do this because that's against the rules. Because if I included stamped images, then you would have no need to buy the stamps. And Stampin' Up! Is in the stamp selling business, so you can see that that makes sense. I was talking to one of my subscribers for this kit, and she just makes do with whatever stamp sets she has. So it does work. I'm just telling you that it's a very handy set to have. And I just think, yeah, it's a really good deal. And of course, right now it's celebration. So with every $60 you spend, you get a free item. And there's some really nice ones. I'm doing a blends class in 2 weeks, actually 13 days. And we'll be making 2 cards. I'll show you how to make the blends. This isn't perfect cutting, but you know what? You already know the reason. I'm not patient. There we go. And a trick, if you're not a patient cutter, is to just sponge your edges, and then they don't see those little white bits that you didn't want to have there. But then you have to sponge, so it's kind of a half dozen one. So there's my weigh scale, and now the bowl. And then you're thinking, well, we still need cherries. Yes, we do. And I have a trick for that too, so stay with me. And then I suppose I'm supposed to tell you guys that if you're watching, and you're watching on YouTube, then give me a thumbs up, and I mean, if you like it, and also click on the subscribe button. I think there's 3 little dots or something at the bottom. If you click on those, then you can click on subscribe, and maybe some, I don't know, I have to look into that again. There's a couple other things where you can get notifications or whatever so that you don't miss it when I go live. There we go. And now I'm going to use this bit, or maybe even this one for the cherries. So let's get our cherries out. And we're going to do the cherries with cherry cobbler. That seems to be, I have stamped the cherries in real red, in cherry cobbler, and in poppy parade. And my favorite is cherry cobbler, which makes sense, doesn't it? Kind of a bit of a no-brainer. So here I'm going to use this scrap up here. And I'll tell you why I left space underneath. Oh, that's a mess. That's a hot mess. Okay, I'm going to use the other side. Don't press too hard. That's the thing. I re-inked my cherries, my cherry cobbler ink pad. There. Gentle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There. Now we have it a little bit more, yeah, you can distinctive. So now let's clean that off, and then we're going to do the stems. And for the stems, I'm going to use the soft succulent. It's a really nice vintagey green, not overpowering at all. Let's see. And so you can see that the images are on the back of the stamp case, so you don't have to, you can put your stamps right on your case, which is quite nice. I rather like it. They're not floating around. Okay, so. And then these are fussy cut, which you're probably like maybe groaning about, but it's okay. And there we go. I just gave myself enough room. Now, the trick is I want to leave some white underneath here so that I can stick it to the back of the bowl. So I'm just going to do this and this, and I'm going to leave this piece. I'm just going to cut it at a bit of an angle like so. Okay, and that's kind of the handle. So then here, I'm going to leave a little bit of white. Okay, so this doesn't have to be terribly fussy. And then I'm just going to go close. And then we'll get into the details in a minute. And you just kind of wiggle your paper around, and that kind of eliminates some of the hard work. The thing is, don't get too fussy with your fussy cutting here. Okay? Here. But again, that's totally a personal preference as to how perfect you want to be. There. See, so you could choose to leave this section here just pure white, but this big piece here, I'm going to go in and get a little bit tidier. And then sometimes you just think, oh, you know what, I'll do a little bit more and tweak it. So it depends on the day that you're having as to how much you want to get in there. And I'm just swiveling around. I'll almost cut off a leaf, you know. And then this little bit looks a bit chunky to me, so I will get in there. There. And sometimes when you get started, you get a little bit more eager. But I think that looks pretty good. I could go in there. Let's do it. These paper snips from Stampin' Up! Are really nice. They're good and sharp, and they have a nice fine tip. Okay, that's good enough. So now, I'm just going to use a little bit of Tombow because it's the only, oh no, no, it is the only adhesive I have here. I'm going to just put a little bit there, and actually my little bit is too much. That's okay. I'll pick it up and slide it. I'm sorry if I'm not answering you guys. I'm just going to spread that around a little bit, but you can see how handy it is that I had that extra white bit underneath. See? Isn't that perfect? So it's oozing a little bit. I'm just going to let it. Our Tombow, see where it's oozed there? It dries clear. Oops, sorry, I'm not in the picture. It dries clear, so don't stress about that, but I'm giving it a bit of a squish, and then I'm just going to use my finger and give it a wipe. I got a little bit too carried away. And then just rub it like that, it'll go away. There, gone. All right, so that's that. Now, before I put this on, we're going to tie a ribbon around. And there's two ways of doing it. You can actually take a big long piece and tie it. This was actually, I kind of want to save this piece. It's really long. If you have this ribbon at home and you have two long pieces in here, then just leave it. This one can be a lot shorter. Well, Murphy's Law would have it, of course, that I don't have any of this ribbon behind me. So I'm just going to cut this shorter. You know what? Maybe that'll be enough to do 2 cards. And then what I do is I put the tape on the back. This is the wrong tape, but it's what I have sitting here. And I want to prove everybody wrong that I'm not going to get up off my desk and go and get it. So this is going to go right underneath here, and then just wrap it around the back, okay? Like so. Oops. Hold on. There. Well, that's not good. You know what? I'm going to have to get my strong tape. This is not good. I'm proving everybody right. I have to get up and find my tape. So while I get my tape, here is the beautiful card. Here I am. And you know what? The reason that my tape wasn't on my desk is that I had taken it with to my mom's. So I'm using some nice strong adhesive just on both sides there. I probably went overboard. Then I hold it in front of me. Just wrap it around the back, give it a firm press there. And now I'm going to use some dimensionals. And I don't have my big ones, so I'm using my little ones, and I'm just tearing some chunks. 1, 2. I'm using my edge bits, which is a good thing to do. You don't have to waste any of your dimensionals. There. Oh, look, my tape came off again. Oh, my word. Okay, here we go. Press down and stay. Okay, so now we're going to pop it up on our card base. Look, it came loose again. Honestly, people, usually this works really well. Maybe instead of using 2 pieces, just use 1 long piece. Because this is not worth the hassle, is it? So you don't want your card falling apart when it goes to somebody. And this piece, I forgot to tell you, is, I believe, 3 3/4 by 5. And then I'm going to take another piece of ribbon here and loop it through. So normally this is a way you can save on ribbon, but I am not sure that I'm a big believer in that anymore. But it's an alternative. Oops. Oh. Tying bows on camera, not always fun. I've got a little thing on my thumbnail that's catching, and look, now my ribbon is completely loose. So do I like this thing? I do not. No. This is an epic fail, people. And then the tape that I put on the back is stuck. So, you know, this is stamping with Jackie how not to do it. And you know what I'm going to do? Instead of tying it around, I'm going to cheat even more. I'm going to, see, now it's in a tight knot here from coming off. It's like, you know, Murphy's Law sometimes has just a a wonderful field day with us, right? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie this in a bow, and then you can glue dot it on or whatever. But next time, instead of trying to save on ribbon, just tie it all the way around and tie it in a bow. You know, you're going to save yourself 2 inches. It's not worth it. Absolutely not worth all the hassle. Like you saw my ribbon come off twice. I am broken into a sweat. It takes the fun out of things. Sometimes when you get too cheap, like look at my bow. Like look at this disaster of a bow. Oh, terrible. You know what? I'm going to leave the bow for a minute. We're going to take our beautiful weigh scale and look, it's going to go up like this. And then this is going to go like that. And now it looks beautiful. Really pretty. Okay. Focus on the good and take away the bad. So we're not going to think about that horrid ribbon disaster. We are going to think about how lovely the weigh scale is. And we have learned that to be too cheap with ribbon is also not a good thing. So we're just going to put some dimensionals on the back of the bow. And you can see how you can use all the bits of your dimensionals. Okay? So here we have it. All the little backings are off. There we go. And you know, I'm thinking, I didn't even really have to bother having a shower to do my hair this morning. I should have just popped it up. Oh, one other thing. See how I have if I put the weigh scale like that, it's just kind of floating. So I'm eyeballing it. And I want to ground my weigh scale. And I'm going to use the Smoky Slate blend. And I'm just going to make a scribble. Okay, like that. And you're thinking, oh no, you've just ruined your card. Now I'm going to go over it with my color lifter, and that'll soften it. And then that just kind of gives the illusion of a countertop. Okay, so here we go. And I didn't say it, but if you put your dimensionals at the top and at the bottom, you straddle your ribbon. So that's nice. Maybe that will give my ribbon some stability. Maybe it has decided to stay. And now I've breathed a little bit, and I can probably make my bow. And that's all that has to happen. We just have to make a bow here. So if you're making a bow, if you keep this piece a little bit shorter, then you have this longer piece to go all the way around and tuck under. There, first try. There. That's a more respectable bow. And then make sure that you trim your edges on a diagonal, like so. And then you're going to find a glue dot, but my glue dots went with to my mom's, and you're just going to glue dot it right on here, and that works out just fine. Yeah. So that's a wrap, guys. And oh yeah, no, I still wanted to show you something. This was the reason I was almost late. So here's the finished card. I think it's really beautiful. Thank you, Tina, for the inspiration. And now I want to show you this stamp set. So this stamp set, What's Cooking, is a perfect complement to the Measure of Love. And this one does have dies. So look at this. I have the bowl and the wooden spoon and this was in Smoky Slate stamped off. And you know what I'm going to do, if I can get my mouse to work, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Let's have a look. Yeah. So you can see the detail in the stamps. And then here's the knife. Again, I stamped the knife in Smoky Slate. Here, let's get it down here where you can see a bit better. And the measuring cups. And the rolling pin. The rolling pin and the wooden spoon are in Crumb Cake. And then this was also Crumb Cake. My fingers have a little bit of adhesive. Oh, that's off the camera. That's not good at all. Here, a salt and pepper thing. Aren't they just so cute? And then here's the pièce de résistance. Look at that. A cute little flipper and a whisk. That's in the galvanized steel. And then here is like a breadboard kind of thing. See the grooves in there? And if you sponge it with soft suede, this is our craft paper. So that's kind of fun, isn't it? You can put the bowl on there. So really, really nice. And then the words, Sending you a dash of kindness and a spoonful of love. What's cooking? Happiness is homemade and for you. And then I did, let's have a look. You want to see them in action? It's, you know, when you see stamps being used, it's just a whole lot nicer. Let's just, and then the other trick is for, these are the little chef hats, and then these are the vegetables. And for the vegetables, like there's a mushroom there and a tomato cut in half, and I'm not sure what that round thing is. I'm looking. Goodness. Okay, guys, the jury's out. What that round thing could be. It could be a shrimp, but I think it's supposed to be some sort of vegetable. I don't know. We can vote on that, but I'm gonna just grab a block and here. So my suggestion for that is to stamp in smoky slate. Let me just grab a piece of white. So stamp in smoky slate, stamp off, and then you've got a really light version, and that means that you can now color them in whatever. You can use a blend, you can use your blender pen and ink, it doesn't matter. And then here, let's see, there's the chef hats, and we'll do them solid in smoky slate, or you can stamp off if you want colored hats, and then it's not so dark, the outline. And what else? Let's see what the words look like. Here. And, oh, that one's really stuck in there. Let's get it out there. And that way you'll have seen what they all look like. I love the way it's a distinctive stamp, and I'm going to use, let's see, I'm going to use Misty Moonlight. It's a really nice, soft blue. Like it's darker blue, but it's a muted. It's not as dark as Night of Navy. It's got a bit of a vintage feel to it. Happiness is homemade. And what's cooking? And they're sending you a dash of kindness and a spoonful of love. I'm going to stamp it again. It's a bit darker. And then just a for you, which is cute for a little tag. Isn't that nice? Yeah, so this is a really fun set, and I just wanted to share it with you. And before I sign off for the day, I'm going to show you the cards that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. So we've done this one today, and we did this one last week. So all my videos for this are on the YouTube channel, and they will be under the section for Coffee and a Card, Virtual Coffee and a Card. This one, I like that it has the macrame in the background. And this is the Poppy Parade, so you can see what it looks like. Oh, and guess what I forgot to do? Oh my goodness, this is important. Okay, 2 more cards, and then we're going to finish this one off, because there's something really cool with the cherries. There's this one. And the difference with this card is that the weigh scale is stamped on our shimmery white, which has a bit of a vanilla feel to it. And then this is the last card. Okay, now the coup de grace that I almost forgot. Okay, I have it sitting in here because it had to be upside down. Yes. So we have what's called, can you see that? Shimmery Crystal Effects. And it takes a little while to dry, so this is something you want to do at the end. And so I'm just, let's see, get it down here. Give it a light squeeze, and you just kind of spread it around. And when it dries clear with a hint of sparkle. And it really makes your cherries come alive. And it also slightly lightens up the color of the cherries. So that's why I experimented with the different colors. And cherries are also, depending on their ripeness, they're not all the same color. So I like it that there's a couple of different ones in here. So there you have it. And now it has to dry, but you can see the shimmer, the shine. It makes it look like they're wet. You could also use your fine tip glue. That will also do it, but it won't have the sparkle. So I'm so glad I remembered this. Last time I forgot as well. So the Shimmery Crystal Effects makes a great little touch on your cards. Anyway, guys, we made it. Thank you for coming back. I have no idea why everything froze up, but it did. And so we just bounced back, and here we are. I hope that you have a wonderful day. I'm so glad that you joined me. I was supposed to have an open house tonight, but it's gonna most of it's gonna be outside because I thought that would be more COVID friendly, and it's terrible weather forecast for the whole week. It's rain and thunderstorms. So the open house is going to be next week, Wednesday at 7 p.m. And I will have my BOGO sale going on. So I have lots of retired products. If you buy them, well, you actually don't buy them. Their value is all clearly marked. And I also have the BOGO online as a Facebook group. So you can request to join. If you need a link, let me know. Or I'll post it. I might share it again on my page, The Pampered Stamper. And so it's all in different sections. They start at $5. It goes all the way up from $5 up to $50. And so let's say you pick out a $50 stamp set and die bundle, then you get that bundle free if you place a $50 order online. That's how it works. So at $60, of course, you also get a free celebration item, and you also get a free PDF from me. And I always tuck in a few extra surprises in your order. So it's just a lot of fun. So you can do that now, or you can wait till next Wednesday at the open house and do it then as well. Okay, so that's it for today. And do sign up for that blends class if you want to join in. It'll be the last class I do. I'm going to Holland on September 2nd and staying till about the 18th of October. So that's it for now. I'm so glad you joined me. Have a super day. Bye. Whoopsie boo.